I'm Dan Wire, co-chairman of Friends of the Rivers. The mission of Friends of the Rivers is to preserve, protect, and foster the vitality of the rivers for the environment, residents, and wildlife. A little over 2 years ago, a group of dedicated citizens got together around the table and began to talk about how we could bring to fruition the desires and ambitions of the citizens of not only Fort Wayne and Allen County, but Northeast Indiana. That is our heritage, that's our background, the waterways, that's what brought the settlers here. There's a keen interest on the part of the community to get back to the rivers. So this group, Friends of the Rivers, began to brainstorm how do we begin to re-energize and help the citizens fulfill that desire. What we focused on in the last 24 months have been activities that will bring the residents either on or around our waterways. This has taken place with a huge culmination event of Riverfest last year with the generous support of IPFW. That was a tremendous event for the community. Right after Riverfest, then we, Friends of the Rivers, sponsored with Arch the Fort Wayne Boat-A-Bout. And then shortly after that, it was the William Wells celebration down on the historic Wells Street Bridge. Those events reinforced to us that the community was eager and hungry for opportunities to be around the rivers, to be on the rivers, and to relive some of the heritage that we had along the rivers. Friends of the Rivers recently has been fortunate enough to receive some funding grants from the County of Allen. That has emboldened us to begin to move ahead with some of these initiatives. And again, with the vision of the county support, the last 12 months as we move into these opportunities, again, we are encouraged by the support of the community to be participants in these events. Friends of the Rivers has a stated goal to be a unifier or a blender or a collaborator of all of the other organizations that have similar interests along the waterways, whether they're volunteer groups or professional groups. We are all working for the same thing, water quality and abilities to be able to enjoy the rivers. So from that end, Friends of the Rivers has been working for the last 6 months to put on what we call the Rivers Summit. And that Rivers Summit will be June 28th and 29th at the Grand Wayne Center. And there is more information online at riversummit.org. Basically, the River Summit is designed as the education piece to help the community understand what are the challenges that we have along our waterways. We will be looking at frank discussions. We will be presenting the very latest data information on water quality and water quantity concerns. We will also be looking at seemingly opposing objectives. Can we develop along the rivers? Can we develop along the rivers safely and not increase the flooding potential? We will address those issues head on. And most importantly, the River Summit is about listening to the residents. We want to hear the citizens' concerns, we want to hear their visions, we want to hear their dreams of what they'd like to see happen in the waterways of Northeast Indiana. The River Summit will begin on Tuesday evening with a visioning session. We will start with a presentation from Ann Coulter from Chattanooga, Tennessee. She was instrumental in the rebirth of the downtown of Chattanooga, turning the buildings back around to the waters like we look to do in Fort Wayne, and to inherit the history of what made that community great. Ann will be here not to tell us how to do it like Chattanooga did, but to share some of the challenges and some of the positive outcomes that we can expect here in Fort Wayne. Present that same evening for earlier discussions will be Congressman Stutzman, Senator Dennis Cruz from Auburn, and Mayor Henry. And all of these individuals, along with leaders in the community, will be asked to share what they see as views and possibilities for our waterways. It will end that evening, Tuesday evening, again with input from the community. We will have a panel discussion, and we want to hear what the community has to say about our future in the rivers.